Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're back. Thank you, Zab. Well, how was your Sunday? Thanks, Kai. Thanks, Zab. We're not going to talk much about what happened on Sunday. Oh, thank you. But thank you, everyone, for all the love and support. And yeah, and we didn't want to stay away for very long. We wanted to just keep on going. And yeah, we thought we'd keep going. Thanks, Senior Poyo. And like I said, thank you all for the love and support and being awesome. And yeah, we're a little nervous, but you know, let's keep going, right? Yeah. So where were we? Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Seems like 1,000 years since I played this game. Yeah, I don't even remember. I think what was happening? I know, like Edgeworth was gonna resign. Hey, thanks, Citrus Thunder. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Edgeworth was gonna resign, and we showed, and we know the one guy, the chief of police guy, is bad. He's a bad guy, right? Hey, pass. He's a bad guy, and then we showed Gumshoe Edgeworth's resignation letter, and he was gonna let us. He gave us his key card, and he was gonna let us into the chief of police's office because that's where the crime happened 2 years ago. Yeah, that's what happened. Damon Gant. Yes, thank you, pass. You know, that guy, the chief of police guy, who talks about swimming a lot. That guy. But like I said, thank you everyone for the love and support. It helped us.
Do we have to talk about yesterday? The police?
No. Oh, you mean the chief of police? Yeah, no. This is all in the game Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's only in the game.
Okay.
Yeah. But hey, Whiskey Smash. Well. There you go. Phoenix Wright. I was telling the police officer next door about the game I was playing. And he was fascinated. I was like, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure story. So Exactly. As always, we can take a break from Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney and play a game off the arcade machine, like Moon Patrol. It doesn't have to be Moon Patrol. Hey, Evil Bud. It can be any of the games on that arcade list. You just cost 2,000 channel tokens, and if I beat the high score, I'll put your name on the high score list. Oh man, yeah. I mean, well, we almost forgot one of our daughter's recitals because of everything that had been going on. So, but anyway, all right. Shall we just let's play some Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. That's why we're here, right? It's to play games. Let's do it. All right. All right. Got my trusty pen. We are here to play games and have a community, right? And you know, and have fun as a group. And so no one's going to stop that. And I didn't hear anything. Did I put it in the wrong? Looks right. Why am I not hearing anything from the game? Let me take a look at my settings. I wonder if I screwed up one of the settings. Are you hearing me? Yeah, you're hearing me. Okay. Able input. Able input. Why am I not hearing anything from the game? Yeah, that's weird. Huh.
Maybe you should close it and
well, that's what I was thinking too. Let's do what Neil suggests. Let's close it. And we did hear this, right? Yeah, we're hearing that. That we're hearing. Okay, let's reopen it. OBS, man. What kind of question is that? No, I'm a contributor to OBS. Yeah. I feel like if there is a piece of software that I'm literally going to use every day, I should pay for it. All right. Yep. We're good. Yeah, so another tip also is if you so I have it set up so I can hear what y'all are hearing on my headphones. So I have the monitor coming through my headphones. So I know if I can hear it, you can hear it. So, yeah. No. I'm not actually contributing. Although that sounds awesome, but no, I'm not actually contributing. I'm actually there is a Patreon that you can pay money. So it's like $5 a month. I consider that I subscribe to people's Twitch accounts. OBS is one of my Twitch people I subscribe to because they do so much for my stream and for other people's streams. I have no problem contributing to OBS, and so that's what I do. All right. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. Oh no, Gumshoe. Oh yeah, don't use Streamlabs. Now, OBS is really powerful. That's why I use OBS. So, and I've been using Mix It Up recently. So the JFriesinator and now BeardCam and SkyCam are all through Mix It Up, which is basically software you run on your machine, and it's like a bot. It is Streamlabs OBS is a fork of OBS. So at least let me do this for Mr. Edgeworth's sake. All right, detective. Thank you. All right. Gumshoe's ID tucked swiftly into your pocket. That is it's some new software. Take a look at just Google Mix It Up streaming, and I bet you'll be able to find it. But it's basically software you run on your machine, and it's see where it says JFriesinator. All of that, the chat bot is coming from that, and then you can do commands and stuff like that too. So when you see now, here I'll show you. Let me run one real quick. It's kind of cool. So like these, so let's say the Pride Gaming Network comes up. So if that ad comes up or that timer is triggered at random in chat, at the same time it appears in chat, you'll also get the graphic over there on the left side of the screen. And so using that software, I have it synchronized. Yeah, so that's kind of cool, right? And so the beard one and that one are synchronized to do that. Yeah, and so there's a few other things I want to do with it, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I just wanted to get parity with the Stream Elements bot, and then I would add stuff later. Oh, thanks, Rizuro. Playing WoW. Cool. All right. So now we should be able to move to the chief's office. Will work with will what work? Oh, are you talking about mix it up? No, it does commands too. Yeah, it does commands too. Yeah, I don't have that as, but you can do commands. Yeah. So like arcade and all of that is running through it. Discord, yeah, all of that is running through Mix It Up now, which is kind of cool. All right. All right. All right. We're in the chief's office. Here goes, Mr. Wright. Why does he have an organ in his office? That's creepy.
What?
The chief of police has a pipe organ in his office.
I mean, who paid for that shit? One of those is like $25,000.
I'm wondering if like the building was an old church. Or
kind of
something?
has one of those church windows.
Yeah, it does. So, if anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe's a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to, bail me out. Eek! Ah! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Oh, did she slap him? Detective Gumshoe, what are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came to. If you're here, then what's the point in giving us your ID card? Crumpled Gumshoe's ID card in pocket. Hey, don't do that to my card. I hardly ever get a chance to come in here. So I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now, come on, let's see what we can find out. I've got a bad feeling about this. Oh, cool. Thanks, Jisrael. Yeah, if you notice, yeah, in Discord, if you're a subscriber, I have a bot doing all that automatically. But thank you, Israel. All right, y'all are talking WoW, so I'll let y'all talk WoW.
I wouldn't let Jason play WoW.
Yeah, I tried playing WoW, well, I guess 10 years ago now, when we were first dating. And he was like, if you ever, like...
You ever tell me we can't do something in real life because you have a raid, I'm going to leave you. That's
right.
What I said.
And so one of the things I said, well, what about if I have a stream? And I said, if we ever want to do something, we'll go do it. And I'll cancel the stream. And so that's what we've been doing. So
yeah, this has not been bad. I've just known people who were like,
yes, I know.
The most hated words for me are, I have a raid. You have a what?
What? I have a raid.
If you tell me you have a raid, it better be a can.
A bug spray?
Yes.
All right, the chief's office. That desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. I keep wanting to call him Chief Grant. He practiced a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. Oh, that's strange. That's a strange reason to leave it there.
Are you thinking of Lou Grant?
Yeah, I don't know. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk? No one except Chief Gant and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. Oh, we gotta get out our spray bottle. Here, we'll do it in a second. Let's talk to him about Chief Gant. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah, you wouldn't be. No. Yeah. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay, then let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy. Huh, what is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go at that. Sorry. This guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? Yeah, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief Gant, so it's finally come to this. Uh-oh. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings yet. There he goes, ignoring me again. Alright, let's get out the spray. Where's the luminol spray? We're gonna spray. I'm sorry, but I've got to spray. Actually, we gotta come over here and spray. Look at that. Blood. Whoa, this area must have been covered in blood. Is this from that incident? It must be when Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. 2 years have passed, so the reaction's kind of dull. The murder really did take place here.
Or something else.
Yeah. All right, so let's spray the organ. Can we spray? Let's spray his desk. Let's spray this thing. Is there anything on that? His office is pretty clean. Go back over here. Spray the picture. Okay, I think that's it. I don't think there's any more. All right, we're done. Yeah, he does look guilty, doesn't he?
This luminol will also glow in the presence of cyanide.
Yeah.
And
Oh. Well, I thought you were gonna say something else with an S word. Anyway.
it will also respond to horseradish and fecal matter and smoke residue.
Oh, okay. Alright, so I guess let's examine the room. What the hell is that? This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons. Sure is, pal. The chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now this armor. You know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room? I think Neil said that. What? You mean you're paying for this? We're paying for this? That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. Okay, Emma, you go to jail then. You don't have to pay taxes to pay. Shh. Be careful what you say. Who knows? The chief may be hiding in his this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out. You guys don't know how scary that guy can be. That looks like a safe. We need to crack that safe. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. It looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. A 7-digit number. I think I might know what it is. Oh my goodness.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I don't know if it's that. Hey, Dylan. I was gonna say... I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. Am I gonna get it? Okay. I'm gonna go with 777777. Oh, thanks, Carrick. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks, Carrick. Thanks so much. Have fun playing D&D. Well, you're like, how did you know 7777? All right, so if you go to the court record and look at the list of IDs, look at the first one on there. It's all 7s.
At least it wasn't.
We don't know who that is. I think it was him.
At least it wasn't 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same
what kind of idiot
I have on my luggage.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I knew it was all 7s. I think that's his ID number. All right. Bingo. Exactly. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was that, pal? 7777. The final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day? You mean... Oh, yeah.
Satan?
That ID number? I think you're the 1-7 shy this time. This can only mean one thing. That Chief Gant's ID number. Bum, bum, bum. He was in that room. Say, anyone care to take a look inside? Oh my goodness. There's gonna be... Who knows what's gonna be in there?
Your mom.
Your mom. Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away? Look, it's a knife, isn't it? It's a knife. It's the murder weapon. It's the final piece of the pottery. Shard from a broken cup. This somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in here too. Handprint. What's this? It looks like a piece of leather cloth. Oh my. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design? I don't think so. Oh, well, it's just a thought. Is that it? This is all that was in the safe? Apparently so. It's empty now. Piece of cloth with a handprint on it. And a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. But unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great. Now I have to prove their relevancy. You get them? How are these two items related to the SL9 incident? Come on, there's got to be something we can show the detective. Alright, well, let's go back and we'll present him with... Where's the vase? Yeah, I don't know why you would keep the final piece to this jar. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar?
Figured it'd have the tip of the knife too.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be. Like the tip of the knife. All of us put that back together. Oh, those were the days. It's called Mix It Up. MIXITUP. Yeah, that's a software that you run. And you log into it and then it has access to your chat. And by default, you can have it just be using your account. You don't have to have a bot. It will post stuff using your name. But what I did is I created an account, another account, and having it go to that account. So that's how it's working. That's why it says JFriesinator. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right. One of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know that fragment we just found. Ah, okay. So yeah, then you could use that. You mean this one? That was in the safe? Yeah, that one. That was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Well, of course it's gonna fit. Here, let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Hey, Edgy Rose. Mr. Wright, here's some glue. If I can piece this together again, I'll prove Chief Grant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. Well, this will be easy. Right there. Ta-da! Well, that's good, because I've heard stories that say I showed up late enough times and then they fired me. So I'm glad that wasn't your fate. I'm glad they were able to accommodate that. There, it fits like a charm. That, of course, means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. Hey guys, get a load of this. What is it? This piece you just attached. It's different from the others. Ah, okay. You got school. What is that? There's a reddish line on it. Reddish line. That's blood, I was gonna say. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? I don't know. We need to find out whose blood it is. So we need one more. So let's Oh, you were purposefully okay. Okay, so maybe show him this handprint? I can't believe our Officer Marshall would do something like that. You know Officer Marshall? Of course I do. He was like a mentor to me. Volleyball. Really? He said, Dick, she'll listen to all your troubles. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe talks to a cactus. Hard to believe he's just a patrolman now. Someone ought to trade places with him. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Okay, so that wasn't... so there's got to be something else we can present to him for the handprint. Let's do the fingerprint set. Hey, Murray! Oh, what about Walmart? Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to take a look at this. Hey, I know what this is. So, you want to take some fingerprints? That's a great idea, Detective. Alright, go to town. Sheesh. What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Oh, thanks. Thanks, Kai, for gifting out 2 subs. Aw, thank you, Murray. You're not allowed to wear the rainbow uniforms anymore? Well, that sucks, Edgy Rose. Go ahead, take my fingerprints. It's not your fingerprints we want to take. Huh? Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe. They compensated my anger. Aw, that's nice of you, Murray. Gifting Kai a sub. Oh wait, no, you Murray. Oh, so confusing. Kai, thank you for gifting Murray a sub. I got it backwards. I had to look again. I was like, wait a second, that isn't how I have it. You'll notice over here on the left, see where it says sub gift? I coded that. One of the cool things about this little thing on the left is it's in JavaScript or something like that. And I, as a former engineer, I miss coding sometimes, but I can definitely hack away at shit. And so I wanted it so that if it calls out the person who gifted subs, and so I changed the code so that it does that now. So I had to look up Twitch API shit and everything. Anyway. Yeah, do it in the on the Discord. All right, here we go. Yeah, exactly. Yes, I changed it so it says who gave the gift now, if it's a gifted sub. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. And thanks, Kai. Alright, here we go. We're going to sprinkle the powder. Then once we've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. Alright, you ready? What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told a million times. Alright, let's get it over with. So this is one of those things where they like, they really... Alright, I guess... Oh, we gotta pick a print. Let's pick... What would be best? An index finger, I would think, right? Alright, here we go. Putting powder down. Putting the powder down. Powder, powder, powder. Alright, y'all ready? Alright, you can all blow with me. Are you ready? Here we go. What? There's a fingerprint there? I gave it my best shot. What kind of result won't be any good for matching prints, will it? But it does look like we'll get a clear result from this print. Okay, let's try a different finger. Alright, let's try the middle finger then. Alright, powder, powder, powder. Alright, here we go. Ready? Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Oh, we gotta match it up. Oh crap. Oh, can I pick people? Oh, it's gotta be him, right? Oh, it's not him. It is not Damon Gant. Oh my god, is it gonna be Emma? It's gonna be Emma, isn't it? Not Jake Marshall. Not him. Not him. Is it Lana? Oh my god, it's Lana. Is it? It looks kind of like Lana. It's Emma? It's Emma. Why is it Emma? Is Emma the killer? Oh my goodness, Emma's the killer. Dun dun dun. Did not expect Emma. No. How can this be? She's not going to turn around and get us, is she? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match. Whose fingerprints were they? It seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Drake's prints. Psst. Hey you, over here. What? What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Oh, that's not going to be good. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. All right. I guess, is that it? Should we get out of here? I feel like we should get out of here. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant! He put that paper he was reading in his desk. That's right. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence used in a case. A list of evidence? In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this. Hey, look at the case name. SL6, SL9. I wonder what this is doing here. He'd make a good... You think he'd make a good husband? He's one of those guys that's just like loyal, you know? He's kind of he's not all there, but I think he'd be like totally loyal to you, right? Yeah, he seems like a good guy. Totally agree. Totally agree. Hold on, detective. What did you just say? I said, I wonder what... No. About the evidence list. Normally they're twice as long? That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-size list of evidence. That list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. I was going to say, I heard that before. It was from Edgeworth. That's true, Senior Poya. Is there a lot of like fan art of that? What would the other half of the list be doing here? You knew it. The chief must be hiding something about that case. It would appear so. All right, so now we have the other half of the evidence list. I don't know if you want to know this, Edgy Rose. Well, was I any help? Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Now that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Ah! It's Chief Gant. Isn't that right, you in the coat? Eek! Chief Gant! We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then, I thought of a certain detective. You mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Yes, there's a lot of art. Alright, I will look at it later. Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir? He's gonna fire him. Drop off your ID on the way out. Oh my god, he just fired Gumshoe! He fired Gumshoe! You won't be needing it anymore. But, sir... He's gonna have to come work for us. Now, get out. Yes, sir. Oh, well, that's good. Well, or is it? We'll be on our way too, then. Wait. You, the one without the spiky hair? Don't go yet. Me, sir? I'd like a word with you. Oh, no. But, sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet. You, with the spiky hair, you're free to go. Mr. Wright. Oh, no. Well, he wouldn't kill her. Look, pal. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Yeah, I'm the one with the spiky hair. The chief's office is off limits. All right. Have a good one, Murray. Thanks for stopping by. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? There you go, Edgy Rose. I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. Now, what have I seen that evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office? I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. It's hard to believe anyone could keep quiet about it all this time. Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try and smooth things over with Chief again. Later, pal. Oh no. Well, if we put him away for murder... After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police want to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. No. I see. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. Who it is you're hiding behind those words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of her story. Alright. We're gonna finally found out what's going on here. I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say. So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No. I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken. Oh, I see. I get it now. I get it. Well, hold on. Before I say that, I've figured it out. So remember, Emma's handprint was on the leather. She's the one who murdered Marshall's brother. And Lana is protecting her because if she were to say anything, then she would say that Emma did the SL9 incident. There you go. What is my favorite game on the arcade machine? Well, I have several favorite games. Like, what are you wanting me to pick a game? I don't want to pick a game. It's for y'all to pick a game. Pick one I haven't played in a while. Kind of look through the ones that have. There you go. I'll play Gorf. Gorf is a good one. Edgy Rose. Why, are you gonna do arcade mode? I do like Gorf. Gorf is one of my favorites. All right, you want me to play Gorf? All right. Well, let me get to a safe spot. All right. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom may I ask is this person you're speaking of? Oh, Gorf! I didn't realize it was in all caps either. The one I'm supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? It's Damon Gant. Well, Miss Sky? The eurythmics just here. Mr. Wright, you are addressing the chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about the circumstances? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly investigated that evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of the investigation. Yes, you were, but also one other, Damon Gant. If you intend to accuse... Oh, thanks, RNG! Thanks for resubscribing, RNG Squirrel. I had an okay weekend. It was okay. Actually, I would rather not have a weekend like that at all, ever again. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified in that case. Well, we have this. The urn. I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece and this strip of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? I know! Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Alright. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate in the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. This is like, All Good Men. You were just following orders? Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Just as I suspected, despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk was broken. I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. Ah. The knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife? I couldn't just leave that knife in him. So I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edgeworth's knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that is the reason for the bandage on your right hand. Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Miss Starr. All coming together. Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It's because Emma used it. It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. Hey, Flaming Baguette! We're doing okay, we're doing okay. Just back at it. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So, you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day that day. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it in Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right. Then I called my sister to tell her what happened and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling? The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust, or at least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Officer Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seemed he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect for Mr. Wright. Wait, I'm sorry. You've earned my respect. You've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and as an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial? There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything! Detective Goodman's real murder. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. Got tased? What are you talking about, Edgy Rose? So Blue Badger is even worse there. All right. Let me say, I gotta save again. So that was the end of the chapter. So now I've got to save here. Save. Okay. Zab 101010 wants us to play Gorf. I almost said Zork. Gorf in arcade mode. There we go. Gorf! Yeah, I know. I don't know why I almost said Zork. Maybe because it's just one word names. All right. How? Oh, that's right. I do remember that happening in the game. That's right. I do remember that. Okay. Let me take a drink. Gorf is pretty cool because it's like, what, 6 games in one? So you start out in Space Invaders, then you play something like Laser Attack, and then you do something that looks like Galaga or Galaxians. Then you do Space Warp, and then Flagship. And so each of them have different things. So, well, never become a manager, Pass. I will warn you now. I will warn you now. If you do not like having tough conversations. Well, all right. So hold on. Let me say something first. No one likes having tough conversations. That's first off. But sometimes as a manager, you have to have tough conversations. Right. And so you're right. The more you do it, the better you get at it, or, you know, that type of stuff. But yeah, there you go. There you go, Pass. So yeah, you do need to, I will say, so I've been a manager now for 15 years, 15 or 16. Well, it's 22. So 17 years now. And it's never easy, but you're right. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And sometimes even as a non-manager, you need to have those conversations with your manager. Okay, let's play. I've put the high score I need to beat, 12,780. Let's play some Gorf. believe I did so terrible. 1410. I can't believe I died on the first level. Oh my god. Yeah. You don't have to like me. You just have to do your job. Yeah, I mean, and that's the part of, having conversations is, right? Yeah, I know that was terrible. I just did a bad job on that. What, are you having a tough conversation with me, Zab? Jason, I expected more out of you. I will say, what I like to do is set expectations with people, and then have people sign up for work they're going to do, and then hold them accountable to that work. And that's it. That's all I do. All right. Not your high school, but your high score. But I knew what you meant. All right, here we go. Game 2. Man. Oh, it makes it up as complicated as hell. I'm sorry, Israel. I didn't think it was that complicated, but then I do have a computer science degree, so maybe it was pretty simple for me. All right. This is one of my favorite games. I liked this game as a kid. So, all right. Let's play it again. All right, let's do it. Did better that time. Did better that time. 5980. Games on rotation formation? What is that? Hey, Katie. Woo! Let's put a Metroid head on. Gorf is beyond human comprehension. Oh, man. All right. Well, shall we continue? All right. So, I was going to mention, so in this game, one of the things that's unique about this game is, like in Galaga and some games like that, Metroid is a tradition. It is so cute. So, no, we got one more try. One more try. But I was going to mention before I do one more try, is what's unique about this game is usually like in Galaga and stuff like that, you shoot and you can't shoot again until the bullet passes all the way to the top of the screen. In this game, you can interrupt it. So you can shoot, and then before it reaches the top of the screen, you can shoot again. All right. All right, so here's something I've done on Mix It Up. So when Skycam is done, okay. All right, so this is Skycam. Let's wait for Skycam to be done. All right. So here's something I did that's different on Mix It Up than it was before. And what you're going to do is, when Skycam's done, okay, Skycam's like a minute long. It's like the longest minute of all time. All right, now that Skycam's done, Mix It Up is this software that I'm using to control some stuff now. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm playing the arcade. Do beard cam, all right? No one's doing oh, thanks, Pat. There. I changed beard cam only in arcade mode. So, arcade beard. Exactly. So, one of the things you can do and Mix It Up is you can say, hey, am I in this scene? Am I in arcade mode scene? If so, then don't switch to this beard cam, switch to this beard cam. So there you go. And that's how you do it. And thanks for getting that bot. All right. So, this is a good place to take our first break. But that's one of the changes I made. Oh, Neil has returned just in time. Gonna do a break.
Okay.
Right, let me turn Neil's icon back on. Your high score is safe, Edgy Rose. I did not beat it. Today was not a good day for Gorf. Yeah, Gorf. I'm gonna need more practice on Gorf if I'm gonna beat that. Yeah, exactly. I'm out of Gorf practice. All right, let's take. Oh, let me load up words on stream real quick.
Oh, I wasn't here to ban somebody. Sorry.
Oh no, Pass did it.
I see.
Yeah, we're good. All right. Arcade. No. Words on stream.
You're out of touch. I'm out of time. That's Hall and Oates, isn't it?
Hall and Oates. I'm out of time. Do 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 do. I don't. Did I ever have you as a mod, Edgy Rose? I don't.
Yeah,
think I
she
did.
was a mod before I was.
Oh, were you? Oh, but then yeah, you said I can't do it. So yeah, that's right. I do remember that. All right. Let's take a quick break. Let's do some words on stream. And yeah, now I remember that. I'll be right back. You didn't want to do it. You're like, this is too much pressure. Yeah, you work too much. Yeah, I remember that now. You were like, I work too much. I won't ever be. I can't be here consistently. And I understood that. I understand. All right. I'll be right back. See you in a second.
Okay.
Hello. Yes, Ajiros. Here we go. Level 5. That is a great question, and guess what the answer is? I play all of my video games on stream now. I do not play off stream. I've just decided when I'm not streaming, I just kind of step away. Yeah. But that is a good question. I don't. I play everything on stream. Part of it is I just like playing games on stream right now. Oh. Huh. True. All right. I have. Well, so I did play Pokemon Red, and I'll be playing Pokemon Gold. So when I finish this game, we're gonna play Castlevania Chronicles, and then we're gonna play Pokemon Gold. So. You don't care for the old ones? Well, I'm sorry. I will get there eventually. And then I'm gonna play Skyward Sword HD on the Switch. That's a recent game. A recent remake. Taco Cat is the same backwards and forwards. I did. I played it over a year ago, but I played the Wii version. So I'm going to be playing the new Switch version. Can you believe it? It's been over a year since I played it? Uh-oh. What happened? I don't know what happened there. I think I hit I think I hit the keyboard. I think what happened was I wasn't in the chat window and I accidentally changed the scene. I didn't know I could do that. Well, you're right. The M was fake. Activist.
Why would I get her? Ooh, banana pudding.
Oh well. Okay. Level 8. Meh. We hit a tough puzzle. Good game, everybody.
Worst I've done in a while.
Yeah, that's worse. Worse than we all did. Pass, Kai, Senior Pollo. Thank you.
I was up at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, you were up. Do you have to get up again tomorrow? Okay, so you're gonna head to bed soon? You look tired. You look pretty tired.
I'm okay.
You're okay? All right.
For now.
For now. Neil tends to crash pretty quickly, from what I've noticed over the years. All right.
Dog is trying to steal banana pudding.
It's my experience that dogs will eat anything, even if it's bad for them, like chocolate. All right. Here we go. We're going into court. This is the defendant lobby, all right? But there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be?
See,
Where's Emma, for that matter?
I had a dog that wouldn't
eat chocolate?
So like we would put the plates on the floor and let the dog lick the stuff off of them if there was nothing that would hurt it.
Yeah.
But I can remember the dog would lick the sauce off the vegetables but leave them behind.
Yeah, like your dog didn't like vegetables.
Well,
that's amazing.
The dog didn't like the peas.
The peas?
But like the butter sauce that my mom put on the peas.
So not the peas. Hey,
so she would
Coberman.
completely clean them.
Yeah.
And leave the peas behind.
The peas. That's a smart dog. I don't like peas either. And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth. Knowing you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 77777 ID number is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt on this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything yet. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. On the defendant, 5 minutes after the trial starts, Lana will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way he'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. Hey! Hey, everybody! Welcome, welcome! Thank you so much. You gonna do a shout out, Neil? Neil's working on the shout out. Thank you so much. Yo, you're on Ocarina of Time now. Awesome. Are you playing that on the Switch, Nintendo 64 stuff? A purple raid. Hey, Dawn. Yeah, thank you, Justin. We thought it was important to keep streaming, to get back up on there and just keep going. 2 more dungeons to go. Yeah, cool. Did you get the special controller, or are you just using the standard Switch controller? Aw, thanks, Justin. Thanks for gifting subs. Pro controller. Yeah, I got the NES Joy-Cons. Thank you so much, Justin. That's awesome of you. And I got the Super Nintendo controller. But I heard the N64 one was. Aw, thank you, Justin. I heard the N64 controller was hard to find. Thanks, Neil. Oh yeah, you're back at playing Batman Arkham Origins. Cool. Yeah, so all of y'all should follow Purple Cubby and follow Justin too. All right. Hey, Nagace, how's it going? Welcome, 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 everybody. It went out of stock immediately. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Just like the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, just like the PlayStation 5. You know, I've just decided I'm not going to get the PlayStation 5 out of protest.
Well, I mean, if one comes available.
I know.
If I walked into a store and there was one for sale, I would buy it.
You get one? Yeah. Well, that's kind of how I got my Switch.
I so rarely walk into a store anymore.
Yeah. Good point. Hey, Mr. KR. Did you get a PS5? Yeah, we still haven't gotten one. I even got the invite from Sony to go to their site, but by the time I got to the site, they were all gone.
You needed to show up early.
I didn't show up early because I thought it was reserved. I thought we have, like, let's say we have 20 PS5s and we've done 20 invites.
I bet no. I bet it's like an airplane. They oversell the seats. Yeah.
It's going well. It's going well, Mr. KR. Well, I just, I play so much retro. I don't really have a game right now that's on the PS5 that I want to play. So, yeah.
Oh,
But, it wouldn't be bad to have it.
I thought it would be interesting to have in the living room.
Yes.
Because I don't think the Xbox has aged well.
That's true. We have Xbox One in there now. Haven't played. Well, there isn't that many games for it, though. That's cool, Purple Cubby. I didn't realize she had got one, too. I feel like I'm the only one who hasn't gotten one.
Well, and you haven't had a PlayStation since PS2, so...
Right. PS2 is the last PlayStation I have. And then Evil Bud sold me his PS1. And so now I have a PS1 and actually 2 PS2s. So
I tried to get you a PS3 years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago you tried to get me a PS3. So I will probably be buying a PS3, and then a PS5 is backwards compatible with the PS4. Oh, thank you, Whiskey Smash. Thanks for the bits. Thank you so much. But yeah, we're getting close in this case. Let's keep going. Yes, he does. He is playing. Yes, he played all the Mass Effect games. He's currently replaying Breath of the Wild. So we have another dock, and so he took my Switch that's usually right here. It's in the living room right now. So.
Yeah, I played through Mass Effect. I was gonna play through it again, but then I kind of got bored with it.
There you go, Cobra Vin. Cobra Vin. Yeah. If I get a PS4 and then add the PS1 on top.
Is it Cobra Vin or is it Cobb Raven?
It could be Cobb Raven. I'm sure I've debated this before. What is it? Is it Cobb Raven or Cobra Vin?
Is it Let It Snow or Let Tits Now?
Let Tits Now. Oh, thanks, Whiskey Smash. Thank you so much. Let Tits Now. Yeah, exactly. It's one of our favorite skits from SNL, the Celebrity Jeopardy.
Did
10 seconds.
Did I give him?
Oh no, the hype train is close. Nope, it didn't set it off. You would think it would go. It would go. Y'all were so close, but thank you so much, everyone. It's been great seeing all the love and support. Oh, thanks. Y'all started a hype train. Thank y'all so much. That means so much to me. It was, I really do thank y'all for all the love and support after what happened yesterday. It was really scary, though. But we're not gonna let it go. Pass. Thank y'all. Does that go to level 4 now? Or level 3? Alright. Y'all are so awesome. Really.
So much nicer than yesterday.
Well, it's just great to see y'all come out and help support me. That's what's so great. Oh, thank y'all so much. Did we max it out? What? I don't think I've ever had a hype train go this far. I need to update my hype train emote. Aw, thank you, Justin. Aw, thank y'all so much. I don't know. Oh, Kai! Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness.
2,000 bits! Oh my goodness, Kai. Thank you so much. Aw.
2,000 titties.
Yeah.
I felt like for that I just had to say it.
You had to say it? You had to go ahead and say it anyway. You get train damage. Aw. Yeah, thank y'all so much. Hey, Josh.
It reminds me of that old meme where it would
And
be,
Blue Choco, thank you so much for the bits.
where it would
I saw that too from you.
it would be a picture of Morgan Freeman talking about titty sprinkles.
Titty sprinkles. Yeah, that. Well, I can't believe y'all did a level 5 hype train. That's awesome. Yay! Yeah, I didn't think I was ever going to finish this trial. We're not even into the trial yet. See in court, right? Aw, thank you, Hooded Griffin. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Wait, who just Cobra Vin? You never said if it was Cobb Raven or Cobra Vin. Thanks, Asim. Thank y'all all who contributed to this hype train.
Is it more like Edgar Allan Poe or more like G.I. Joe?
Aw, thank you, Zab. Was there, well, oh, like Cobra, yeah, Cobra Commander? There you go. There you go. If I'm ever gonna find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. I know what it is. He's got Emma was the murderer in the SL9 incident and it was covered up. I know it. I know that's gotta be what it is. Gotta be what it is. Order, 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 order.
It always makes me
Oh,
think,
thanks, Nagace.
it always makes me think of that man in Parliament in Britain going, order, order,
Order. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Again, thank y'all so much, all of you. And not just for the hype train and everything like that. I really want to thank you all for just checking in on us and making sure we were safe and just giving us a lot of love and support over the past day. Yeah, I know. The judge is really cute. It is on point. He's got a great beard. He's definitely got it at that point, right?
I think it's fake.
The police chief has a proposal to make. What? You think his beard is fake? Did you just say that? Yeah, I know. I wonder what beard oil he uses. Chief Gant.
Frisco.
Facial toupee. Yeah.
It's a merkin for his face.
Morning, folks. Hooray! I got an emote. What are these emotes? What are they? Are they like... They're like animals now. This is so weird. Oh, thanks, Zab. Thanks for giving a sub to Hooded Griffin. All right, morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Edgy, been back to the pool yet? He's always asking people. You didn't get an emote? Why wouldn't you? I don't know why you didn't get one. You have to you do have to contribute to the hype train to get the emote, though. Oh, thanks, Neil. All right, morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Yeah, he's into the. You're like your hype shield? Alright. No, I've been I've been drowning enough as it is in my work, says the judge. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. That is a good one. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? What is he gonna do? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Oh, I didn't realize those kind of went together. It's like rainbow paint on the world. That's cool. I never thought those... I didn't think those ever went together. I like the hands. Let me find the Pride collection that I have. I always liked these. I thought those were great. Because, or, you know, I do that a lot, so maybe that's why. Yeah, there you go. Having heard that she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. You know what? I don't remember how I got those. Do y'all remember how we got Pride emotes? I don't remember. I'm trying to look. It says stream with Pride. I don't remember how I got those. Yeah, I totally didn't realize those went together. Huh. Yeah, I think it was you subbed during events last June, and I think you got them. So maybe they'll do them again this June during Pride Month. I bet you that's what it was. If you subbed during that, I think that's when you get it. A shameful streamer. Oh, it was June of 2020. Okay. They should redo those. They should give them out more. Yeah, I do remember it during Pride Month. Oh, were you not? I thought you were. Oh. Yeah, I guess not. I guess I didn't know you back then. I guess I had just started. Well, I started in April of 2020. So we're coming up on 2 years. Coming up on 2 years. In about 4 weeks, I will be doing a 2-year streamiversary. There you go. 1 year, 2 months, 25 days. What's this all about, defendant? Yep, I remember that too. I'd have to find that. I don't know where that was. I totally remember that. Yeah. When Edgy Rose was like my only follower. Edgy Rose, for those of you who don't know, Edgy Rose was follower number 50. So she was the one that allowed me to, well, I still had to get 3 viewers, simultaneous viewers, but Edgy Rose was the one that was my 50th follower. Yeah, yeah. And I made a big deal about it, and guess what? Still here. Yeah, he stuck around. Yeah, look at that. Neil's only been around for 1 year, 9 months. You'd think you would have been here the whole time. Oh, maybe because no, you renamed yourself, Neil.
Yeah, but that's still my account.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I didn't change the account.
Yeah. Yes. Neil and Edgy Rose have founder badges. In fact, I want to say Edgy Rose was my first. It was either Edgy Rose or Neil was my first subscriber. Well, actually, I don't follow, so I can't do follow age. I don't follow myself. Well, let's see what happens if I do follow age. It probably will say I don't follow myself. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember. Well, you got a founder badge, so that's all that really matters.
I know I'm not one of the first ones.
Yeah, were you not one of the first ones? You might have been the first one.
No, you had like 3 or 4 before me.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, because you made me set up an account so you could start it on my computer.
Well, what are you talking about? Well, I legitimately had 3 viewers. That would have been bad if you didn't get a founder's badge.
I don't know if I have one or not.
I think one of these days, if I'm lucky enough to get partner, I think I get more founders badges, or there's something that hands out founders badges somehow. I don't know. I heard that happens. But anyway,
yeah, I've got.
What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. No, Lana, no! On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman. Give one account a permanent subscription. Oh, I didn't know that. Really? Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think you may be the longest. Oh, you're the first VIP? Yeah, you might be the first VIP. Oh, I see, but you can never change it. Give me a beat. Yeah. Good callback, Flaming Baguette. It's because I said Lana was part of the Rhythm Nation. We are a part of the Rhythm Nation. All right. In the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office, with a knife. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. Oh my goodness, she's firing me! But Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack the direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, though this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Hold it! Come on, Edgeworth! Yeah! Edgeworth! This is a soap opera, is what this is. This game is a soap opera, Hooded Griffin. One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. A bow moment to class. Neil instantly doesn't like a game if I play it for what, over 40 hours. It's like, you've been playing this game too long.
This game is not interesting enough to be this long.
But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut? Wow. Oh yeah. Yeah, Edgeworth is coming to the rescue.
I'm trying to imagine a police chief being this incredibly flamboyant.
He is very flamboyant. I'm kind of making his voice be flamboyant.
Well,
but he is flamboyant. That's why I'm doing his voice that way.
You can just look at his picture and tell.
Yes. I try to match my voices with their picture. I think I'm getting close to the end. Yeah, I think I am getting close to the end. Maybe. Pass would know. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. Oh, edgy. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes? Yeah, it is on like Donkey Kong. Yeah, exactly. I'm at the end of the tutorial. Exactly. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. Ouch! Phoenix is just standing back and watching this go. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. He has a list. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. Yes! I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Woo! Edgeworth. With the harsh words there. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. What? Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Oh, well then change it. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation, I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. You can't make it gray. They probably don't want that because it wouldn't look right in the dark mode. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. Yeah, you have a train. Yep, you can change the color of your name. If you go down below, there's a badge, or it's just left of send a message. It says chat identity. If you click on that, there is a place where you can change which badges you show and what color your name is. True. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Yeah, there you go. Ah. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. I don't know why your train is purple. In an incident that was resolved 2 years ago, really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Yeah, it's funny because I see Nagase's name as like a brownish color, but I notice up in the chat above me it is white, which is weird. Oh, is that what the difference in the colors mean? Well, okay then. You sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. 2 years ago. Here we go. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I thought Phoenix Wright was fired. All right. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was second in command under Chief Detective Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Let me see, Edgy Rose. It just says former hype train conductor. It doesn't say anything more than that. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Chief Detective Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day, too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in and took me hostage. A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a... Yeah, so this, I'll show you in just a second. Oh, so that's kind of what I've been doing. When you see it saying, hold it, that's me pressing on the witness to give more details. And so then I have to look for contradictions in the testimony and use evidence that I've collected in order to prove my point. That's the gameplay. Yeah.
Too much like work.
Too much like work. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on that day. So I'm having to pay attention to what they're saying. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Skye and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Neil Marshall rescued me.
I did?
A different Neil. What was the prosecutor doing there?
There is no other Neil.
That day, there was 2 people presenting during Dark's questioning. Detective Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Gant was there too? Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after them. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in? I don't clearly remember what happened then. But I'll never forget what I saw that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then, lightning flashed outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. Picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Let's find out about the picture. This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Ah, but I have it. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. That must have been a real shock. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can see it just as clearly. Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage. When lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Drake, was thrown aside, and the two began wrestling each other. I'm pretty sure I was watching them. Emma doesn't have any reason to lie, but Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much about this as she can. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. Alright, so here's what I think. So right here, I'm going to present, and I have the other part of this list right here, the evidence list. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you still insist on denying its existence. Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it didn't exist. Behold. This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Hey, Shanny. Howdy, howdy. Yeah. Turn it over to... Ah, what's this? Oh, it's the picture. Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. I feel like they should be friends now. I mean, Phoenix did save Edgeworth's life. He was his defendant in the last case. I know, she doodled on official court documents. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. These lists, they're different from each other. Which man? Is it Edgeworth have big hands? What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. Huh. Oh, the man in the drawing. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half the evidence in that case was ever reached you. What? What? Order. Who'd have thought the picture would have been drawn on the back of the list? That was handed to Detective Goodman in the questioning room. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor! Are you all right, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head!
He's one to talk.
You imagine a duck quacking? If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Oh my god. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There is something drawn on the back of my list. Oh, let's see it. Let's see it. This is that thing. It's the blue badger. If you're wondering what it is, it's this thing.
When you said that thing, I thought it was going to be a dick drawing.
That's that thing. That thing was dancing in the evidence room. Apparently, the head of criminal affairs used this for his blueprint. I guess he was out of scrap paper. The evidence list has been updated. What is Neil munching on? He is munching on
cheese.
String cheese.
I found it to be an excellent palate cleanser and teeth cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
If you get something stuck in your teeth.
Yeah. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Oh yeah, their hands are pretty big. Huh? Oh, yeah, yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she saw the picture. Yeah.
Well, if you have Costco near you, Instacart, a 48 count pack of string cheese, $9.92.
Is that a good price? Neil's.
It's an excellent price.
Is it an excellent price? This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. That's true. Costco does require a membership.
Actually, there's a way around it.
Oh, is there?
If you buy a Costco gift card, they have to let you use it.
Don't you have to have a membership to buy a Costco gift card?
No, they sell them in stores.
Oh. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw that instant.
I mean, it's weird to me because I've had a Costco membership.
Yeah, you have
the
have
80s.
one from your from your dad. You inherited one from your dad, basically. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
However, since I have not figured out how to push food through the internet, I don't feel bad for you.
He can't really... Oh, yeah. Could y'all hear him eating? Is that what... Or did you say something?
I think I said something while I was chewing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was rude. I'm sorry.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I don't really like dill pickle.
Yeah, I don't like pickles at all.
Jason won't even eat a sweet pickle.
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the detective team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later, the memory should have been flashed in her mind. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? Oh no, I didn't know that. I wonder if there's something to that. Because, like, you know, like pregnant women want pickles and ice cream, right? The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. It's true, I guess I don't like things that are sour.
The only thing I would say that you like that is sour is an orange.
An orange, that's true, I do like oranges. So at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue. No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, I was knocked to the floor. Ooh, hot sauce on Cheetos.
Why didn't you just get Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
Yeah, I was gonna say flaming hot Cheetos, isn't that the same thing?
That'd been less messy.
Yeah, you were knocked to the floor. Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. All right. Thanks, Kai. Thanks for gifting all those subs. Thank you so much. And thanks. Have a good rest of your week, okay? Oh, Texas Pete hot sauce? I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed.
To me, Texas Pete is like the original hot sauce.
Is that the original hot sauce?
It's not really, but it's the one that was always around when I was growing up.
Yeah. Hold it! maybe. Or just the... I'm sure someone out there has hold it as a...
We need an emote of Jason eating something sour in the face he makes. Hilarious.
Poor Emma, I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? After that, I must have fainted. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No. I'm sorry. It's okay, Edgy-Rez. I like interacting with chat as I'm playing, so... The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture. This picture shows exactly what I saw that instant. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I'd better watch out, or he might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives. I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well... That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Oh my goodness, is there? Oh my goodness. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Oh my goodness. What is the contradiction? Okay. Okay, there's a contradiction here. You know, so see the knife? The knife looks like it's broken off. It's not an actual knife. So let's use that. All right, here we go. Nope. That wasn't it. And so this is part of the game too. So I got it wrong. And so see the exclamation marks? It's basically I lost the life. Objection overruled. Okay, so there's some contradiction in my stuff here.
I hate when things are birthday cake flavored. Always tastes fake.
What did you say? I can barely hear you.
I said I don't like when things are birthday cake flavored because it always tastes fake.
Fake. Totally fake. Handprint is that of the weapon and its other hand. Well, I was going to look at this evidence list.
Yes, but we'd never go there because Jason threw up there as a child.
It's so true.
But I will occasionally go and get a limeade or a milkshake.
I'm looking at this picture. I'm trying to figure out what is going on here.
Better Whiskey Smash.
Are you out of here? All right. Thanks so much, Whiskey Smash. I hope you have a good rest of your week. Yeah. I think that's it. Oh, here's his autopsy. Stabbed in the back. Died from punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. Okay, name, date, cause of death, single stab wound, piercing heart and lung. Died from blood loss in under 10 minutes. Weapon found in wound was missing tip. Is it? Well, we can try it. Here we go. That was it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction to us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? Where he was stabbed? He wouldn't be stabbed in the heart, I guess? Yeah, we'll see. Oh my god. I don't see what's so strange about that. That's because the drawing stinks! Mr. Wright! How could you? The act of making an innocent girl cry should warrant the death penalty. I guess he means I shouldn't shift the blame to others. Well, yeah, so long as the defense has learned his lesson. I'd better take another look at that autopsy report and this picture. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. Oh wait, now I can't look at anything. Should I cover his hand? Or his hand? I don't know what to point out. I don't think I can save here. I can't save here. So I'll save after this. I still have 3 exclamation marks. So I will save after that. Nope, I have to pinpoint a place. Kind of see my cursor up at the top. Thanks, Justin. Alright, we'll just do that. That's what I said. It doesn't look like a knife. Alright, here we go. Oh, maybe. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. That's it. That was it. In fact, you don't even have to look closely to see that. Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I don't think knives just break off in people's bodies, though. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. Huh? Where could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. No. The tip is still in the body. The tip of the knife is found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, there couldn't possibly wind up there. Objection. That's right. But what does that mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at that time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence? Hey, Bobby, how's it going? It's a Metroid. It is a Metroid. Isn't it cute? It has a clip.
It's J. Fry's beret.
It's my J. Fry's beret. Exactly. It's so stylish for my hair. You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying. I don't remember. Have you put it in chat before? All I'm saying is that this broken knife might be the piece of evidence that was forged. I can't deny the possibility. No. Ah! Order, order, order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. All right, here's what I think happened. I'm doing okay. I'm doing better. Let's just put it that way. So I'm ready to just keep on going and keeping on streaming. All right, here's what I think happened. All right, so see. Oh, we don't have it. Well, what I was going to point out was this trophy. There's another trophy that has a sword with it. And that was there the night of the murder. I think she threw the trophy and stabbed him. And then they covered it up. Maybe. I guess we'll see. We'll find out. How are you doing, Bobby? You doing cool? Please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. Here we go. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. Okay, see the trophy? How it has a sword in it? And it's broken off? After receiving the King of Prosecutors award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questions Joe Dark along with Damon Grant. Thanks, Justin. You're like, I couldn't play this game. There's too much thinking involved. That's why maybe I like it. It's like a mystery. I'm trying to solve the mystery. It's all this intrigue that's happening. Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. It's a lot of reading, I'll tell you that. It is Monday. It is only Monday, so this is like a murder documentary. It totally is. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. See, he has the knife. It's a whole knife there. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. Or was he? It is my belief that somewhere in this story there is a lie. Too much of everything and not I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark. There have been one? There is another one. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, I can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume, then, that you have some information about this other than broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. The prosecutor's trophy! If anything's broken here, it's you. Huh? I'm sure this must be very amusing to you, Mr. Wright. But, oh my goodness! Sorry, Your Honor. Please give me another chance. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. The real murder weapon. Was it the screwdriver? No, it wasn't the screwdriver. Ah. Let's see. Edgeworth brought back to his office by Gant's request. It could be the screwdriver. Well, that's the only thing that I have that could be a murder weapon. Alright, here we go. Oh no, that wasn't it. I swore it was the... I swear it had to be this. See, 2 years ago, the halberd was removed at Gant's behest, giving it its current form. Doesn't show it. The photo show? Oh, is there a oh, the photo! Yes, there is a photo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sure I'm right there. There, this one. Yeah, see? Right there. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the awards ceremony. Ah! What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award prosecutor Marshall is holding. I was right. I just didn't present the right thing. What? That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the picture was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood this award. Order, order, order. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and a broken knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors Award knife was the murder weapon, then the murder and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! The prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Uh-oh. Wait! I remember now. I remember everything! Witness? Mr. Edgeworth? What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? Is list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back? Oh, it's this piece right here. It's not the Blue Badger. I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time, I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Oh my goodness. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness testimony. Would you please tell us what you recall, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First, the knife mix-up, and now the Blue Badger? This should be interesting. Okay. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. Okay. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the Blue Badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. Thing? This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible. The head detective of criminal affairs didn't even design him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin. Stop! Please, don't pursue this any further! Uh-oh, we're getting close to the truth. Lana! What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Seat paralysis demon. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. All right. All right, I'm gonna save real quick just because I'm out of objections. So if I die, then we'd have to like replay some of it. So. All right. Well, good night, Neil. I love you too. Neil has to get up early, so he's heading to bed. That's okay. Good night. Can you give me kisses? Mwah. Good night. All right. When I saw that man raise his knife, when you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark. Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident, it also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. So then I panicked and rushed towards both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. He seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife, but as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help Mr. Marshall. She's the murderer. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. What do you mean, you think? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. In a matter of just a few seconds, Miss Sky was almost killed. Then she witnessed a murder about to take place. A little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. She killed him. What you did was very brave, young girl. So then what's happened next? Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. The knight. Oh, I can't really see it in this picture. Does this knight, which has this little stabby pointy thing, does it look like the blue badger? I don't remember. Okay. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. Are you sure about this? Of course, see? I even drew a picture of him there. But the head of Detective Criminal Affairs fought up this hideous beast, and that was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. There he is. He's moving. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember. Oh, brother, just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room, but I sure saw his shadow. His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation? Alright, oh, hold on. Save. Save. If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. What was it Emma saw that lightning flashed? Who is this Blue Badger really? Oh my goodness. The Blue Badger hadn't even been dreamed up when Emma drew this picture, yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on this fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. All right, so the answer to Griffith's question is, so this is on a Nintendo DS, but it is very hard to stream from a Nintendo DS. So I have a way of taking it with my soft modded 3DS, taking the information off of this cartridge, and I'm using an emulator to stream it. So, and I'm using this to emulate a DS. So there you go. That's what I'm doing. Because there's no way to stream it. That's the only reason. If there was a way to stream from a DS, I would do it. Hey, something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright! Oh my goodness. In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious Blue Badger look-alike. Oh my god. This! That's it! It's the vase! The vase! It has to be the vase! The mysterious Blue Badger was in fact this! But that's... what exactly is that? Yeah, that's what I've been doing. So the soft modded 3DS allows me to export those cartridges, and then using that ROM. I believe it's some sort of jar. I mean, I made a backup copy of my ROM, just in case anything ever happened to it. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the Blue Badger. Indeed, it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? I've got to show them the correct angle. Oh my god! To look at this from. Oh, no. No, this way. Like that? You think like that? That doesn't seem right. Think? Okay. Shall we do it? This seems weird. Ah! That wasn't it. Okay. All right. So they're still giving me a chance. Not so close. Okay. What do you think? Or is it this way? Like that, you think? The pointing is away. Yeah, just like that, right? Like that, you think? Oh, the third end up. Oh, got it. Yeah, I see it now. There it is. Got it. Like that. What do you think? All right, here we go. You ready? That looks like it. That's totally it. Yeah. All right, here we go. That was it. That was totally it. That was totally it. I totally nailed it. All right, we gotta do it again. All right, here we go. All right, that was totally it, though. Yeah, maybe slightly down more. Come on, that's it. That's totally it. I'm gonna do it like that. I'm gonna do it so it's more up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, here we go. Still not it. Exactly. We'll do it like that. Well, this is like almost exactly vertical. All right, let's just do it completely up. Let's just do it completely up. Oh, you think more down, huh? Like that, maybe? I feel like I already had that. Dropping points to the Badger. Yeah, I think that looks like it. But maybe not. What if we did it just like completely like that? But see, that doesn't look right either. This is hard to do from chat. Yeah, this music is terrible. Well, why don't we just try it like that? Let's see what happens. Too much up and you see the gaps in the sides. Yeah, I agree with that. If we do it like that, we don't see any gaps in the sides. Oh, well, you know that. Maybe it needs to be more like that. Let's try that.
Take that! Objection!
Yeah. Alright, so what if we did it like that? I thought we did it like this though already. So you're saying do it this way? That doesn't look right though. Yeah, we could do it like, let's just do it like this and we'll see what happens.
Take that! Objection!
Come on, Mr. Wright, you can do it. Okay. It looks like it to me. Opposite the bloodstain and the far end barely poking out behind. Okay, so you're saying like that? Upside down? It's totally backwards then. I don't think that's it. Alright, well, let's try it.
Take that!
Yeah.
Objection!
Here, we're gonna get a little bit closer look. So y'all can see it a little bit better. Alright. I have this special scene that makes it look more like a DS screen. Alright, well, it's definitely this way, right? What about like that? I don't know if we've tried it like that. Where it's not all the way up, it's just kind of part the way up. Shall we try that?
Take that! Objection!
Oh my god! It can't be that way. It just can't be that way. It has to be this way. Oh, okay. In showing. Are you saying this way? Like that?
Take that!
There we go. We got it. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this jar resemblance to the Blue Badger. No. It can't be. Order, order. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious Blue Badger witness on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. Hey, Chibibi! Thank you for raiding. Welcome, everybody. How's it going? What were you playing? Whoop, hello. Oh, thank you, Zab. Cupid Parasite. Well, welcome, everybody. Howdy, howdy. I'm Jay Fries. We are playing Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. And we're nearing the last case, and we're trying to figure out. You just missed this arranging a vase over and over and over again. So, but thanks so much for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Oh man, so I hope everyone's having a good Monday night. All right, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So, that badger thing was actually just a jar. What? That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? The murder weapon. Allow me to take these in turn. Here, hold on, we gotta save. I'm out of saves. You were dating? What is that? I am. So this is the DS version. But it's really hard to stream from the DS. And so what I'm doing is I'm emulating it, but I have the original version right here. And I have a way of extracting the ROM off. Ah, the game was a dating visual novel. Oh, okay. And then I'm using this little pad and pen to emulate the DS. So, and then I have a button here that goes whoop. Now we're in DS mode. But it's so boring because the bottom screen is just a big thing, so I can then rearrange it. So yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, it's yeah, you can't really unless you mod your DS somehow, I don't know if there's any way to actually stream from a DS. So yeah. So that's what I'm doing. Thank you so much for the raid. This has been fun. This is the first time I've played Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, or actually any kind of visual novel game, and it's been fun. I've been really enjoying this. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. And I do have a Wii U. In fact, it's right here. But yeah, I played one of the other games on the Wii U that way. So yeah, they ported a lot of these games to the Wii U. So yeah, thanks for following. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. Not only that, but she saw it at a very specific angle. Knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. See right there. It's behind him. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. but the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. It's because she picked it up and hit him with the jar. That's what I think. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. Hotel Dusk. Okay. Now, let me write that down. I will add it to the list. The list. The infamous list. Alright, I have written it down. Oh, cool. The struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murder moved the victim's body? Oh, that's right. We found the blood. No, wait, but we found the blood over here. From Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky. Wouldn't we have seen blood being dragged across this thing? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he would have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. You know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. Oh no. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. Alright, hold on. We gotta save. Oh, cool. It's too late to quit now, though. Oh no, here we go. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instance, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Aha! The suit of armor! The suit of armor! Holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall wielding the prosecutor's award. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Yeah, this is why Lana was willing to go down, because she was protecting her sister. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless, I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually prosecutor Neil Marshall. Ah! The judge's eyeballs. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? Emma. No. Thud. Oh, she passed out. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. Oh, it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. It was the only way I could think Lana would be willing to sacrifice her life. It was for her sister. And so I knew Emma had to be the killer because and Damon Gantz was holding it over her sister. You know, and basically, you know, making him cover it up. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. You certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Huh. Touché, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. Somehow. That's impossible. No, she left her imprints on a piece of leather. Well, Mr. Wright, from where he pushed her. This is your only possibility left to you. All right, we got to save just because. In case I'm wrong. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Flaming Baguette. Oh, Maya. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that victim may have left behind. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright! Will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse him of any crime. There's only one thing we seek. The truth! No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. So remember, this piece of leather that we found in the safe has Emma's prints on it. And so this must have been when she pushed him. All right, here we go. This is the message from the deceased. Right. Now then, this is the message from... Oh, from the judge! That wasn't it! That was totally it! I was wrong? Alright, well, let's go back. totally thought I was... Yeah, he went cold. Alright, let's reload. I totally thought that was it. Sap. Okay. I like Edgewara. Right here, I'm gonna save it closer so we don't, if we get it wrong again, we don't have to go through so much. Goodness. Well, it has blood traces on it, so we don't know what that blood is yet. Well, the only thing I can think of is the blood on that jar. I thought for sure it was this. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because there was lines on it. That's gotta be it. Yeah, because if we check, let's check it closer. So if we go closer... I don't know, there's a line there. I don't know. Let's try it. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he gonna just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. The message was left here on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely... Oh yeah! It looks like an E and an M. And an A, maybe? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here, drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. The blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. Alright, hold on. Save again. Yeah, I know. No! Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. Alright, I've got to connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim could have written, given the circumstances. The murderer's name. Alright, so here's... Can I just... M... Oh, I see. M... Emma. All right, here we go.
Take that!
It's a defense attorney's duty to prove his client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Dun dun dun! Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Da da da! Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. Da da da! Hey, Beltwalker, how's it going? Seaworthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. Uh-oh. Chief Gant, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, the Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not? Ack. Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. I don't know how you pronounce that. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter, even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Oh, whatever. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like that if it wasn't his fault? Order, 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 order. He does have pretty cool hair. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued. It's not over! And guess what? We're gonna have to end there. But it's a good place to stop. Well, that's been a lot. I know this is a never-ending case. Well, thank you so much for all the love and support from y'all. Today has been outstanding. I want to thank you all for being so welcoming me to coming back. And I want to thank you all for just being awesome, an awesome community that we've built over the last 2 years. And I can't, when new people come into this community, it's all of you being so welcoming in chat for them to stay. It's all of us, right? We welcome people in and make them feel awesome. And that's so thanks to all of you. And I want to thank you all so much for all the gift subs and all the cheers and everything that y'all did today. It means a lot to me that y'all are looking out for me and Neil when weird shit happens. Okay? And yes, thank y'all so much. Thank you, Veltwalker. So this case is actually not going to be solved on Wednesday. It will be solved maybe on Friday or Saturday, because Wednesday is Worst Game Wednesday. And it's going to be big rigs over the road racing. Well, maybe we will get to this, because I have a feeling Big Rigs is going to be a terrible game, and we'll be done with it within an hour, and then we'll be back to Phoenix Wright. So, but Wednesday, the next stream will be Worst Game Wednesday, and it will be Big Rigs over the road racing. So, oh, thank you, Hooded Griffin. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for being here. It sounds terrible, and that's why I started Worst Game Wednesday. I wanted to break up some of the games that I'm playing and do something different, and I thought this would be fun. Especially getting Neil in here, because he has a biting sense of humor too that I think is great. So. Yeah, they had to put a pause on the case so that they could go and race Big Rigs. And then they'll decide who wins the case on who wins from the Big Rigs. Oh man, it's been so great coming back and feeling all the love come in through chat, and I appreciate y'all so much. Let's see. I just want to thank all the subscribers too. All these people over here. I can't do it without y'all. And thank you everyone out there. As I always say, they get all these they get these ad-free emotes. They get the emotes and the ad-free viewing. But thank you so much. It means a lot to me that y'all continue to support me. Oh, thank you, Veltwalker. I guess that's it. Let's find someone to raid. But yeah, come back Wednesday for Big Rigs Over the Road Racing. I have it ready to go. Hopefully it still works. I have it installed on my machine. I tested it. It's terrible. And so yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. All right, let's see who's out there that we could raid. Yeah. Let's go. Our friend Justice, aka the Gigglepuss Gang, is out there streaming. He's doing Gartic Phone, okay? But if you've ever gone to Gigglepuss's the Gigglepuss Gang's stream, it's usually not about the game. It's usually about the crazy antics that he's up to. So, hold on just a second. I want to make sure he's still streaming. It looks like they're still streaming. He totally is. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thanks again so much for all the love and support for my return today. And I hope y'all all have a safe week. And I hope y'all have a wonderful week. A wonderful and safe week. I love you all. Have a good one. Bye.